Look at the sun. Lovely sunshine. It's not liquid sunshine one, it's usually in UK, but it's just a sunshine. And it's perfect time to talk about stupid things EV owners sometimes do. If you are one of those kind of guys who does one of those things mentioned in this video, please stop, make yourself a favor, don't do it again. My name is Simonas, welcome to my channel. Number one, driving too fast. And driving too fast, it's not in the way that it's just driving above a speed limit. No. Everyone, if you had car with internal combustion engine, you used to drive maybe at the speed limit, maybe a little bit faster. If it's 70 miles an hour, sometimes you do just 80, right? That's one of the things which kills your range. So as an example, if you drive on the motorway and you have a 70 mile an hour speed limit and you decide to go 80 miles an hour, which is everyone usually does in UK, it's unwritten rule and it's not really extremely legal, but no one actually really bats an eye about it. So everyone kind of loves to do 80. And if you did that in the past, don't do it because you're gonna shorten your range significantly. If you drive too fast, it will kill your range. Nothing else. Not lights, not heating, not music, nothing like that. Only the driving too fast will kill your range. And that's one of the most important things. Don't drive too fast. Speed kills your range. Sometimes if you need to, you might even go 70 or even less than 70 miles an hour. That will improve your range significantly. So one of those things, don't drive too fast. That's stupid. Another thing, don't charge at the superchargers more than you need. So when I talk about superchargers, I talk about public chargers, the fast chargers where you travel and you need to, stop when your battery is going closer to empty. You want to stop and to charge. One rule, don't charge if you don't need to. So for example, if you're traveling somewhere and you need to reach your home where you have your wall charger and you're short of 10% of a battery, for example, just to reach home, charge only 10%, maybe 20%, not more, and go and back home and you charge from the wall charger. This of course applies only to people who have a luxury to charge at home, but these about 75% of people overall in UK who have a drive at home, so this is quite universal thing. But again, you only need to charge at the fast chargers only as much as you really need. There are two things why you have to behave like that, and that's the silly thing would be to make it otherwise. Number one, it's much more expensive to charge at the public chargers, at the fast public chargers, than it's to charge at home. And two, you're just wasting your time. Another thing, when you talk about charging at the public chargers, at the fast public chargers, don't charge above 80% like ever. It makes no sense. It wastes your time and it's not worth it. Believe me. Like in this car, for example, if you go to the supercharger, which is like 250 kilowatt charging capacity, with a car which is preconditioned, ready to charge from 10% to 80%, which is about, roughly the range you want to always have your battery in. It will take you about 25 minutes, 24 minutes to charge from 10% to 80%. That's your kind of driving range during your trip. If you will go from 80% to 90%, that's additional 10-15 minutes, right? If you go from 90% to last 10% up to 100%, that will be another probably half an hour. It's not worth it at all. So what you do, you just charge from 10 to 80 maximum, then you drive another 2 and 3 or maybe 3 hours, you stop, you charge from 10 to 80% again. That's the most efficient way. To be fair, if you really want to have the quickest travel, you might want actually to charge up to like 50 to 60% and not more, because your charging curve goes kind of down. So here's the usual charging curve from a car like mine. And what you notice that you're starting from like 10%, it's still very high, and it drops, drops down until like small numbers. And that's the reason, because your battery acts like a parking spot at the supermarket, at the mall, or at the shopping center. If you arrive and it's empty, you very quickly find your space, right? Just go and you parked. If you arrive at the full parking lot, sometimes you have to take it takes some time to find the right space for you. That's why the more the battery is charged, the slower it takes the charge in. So don't charge more than 80% ever. That's a stupid thing to do. Stop it. Another thing about the charging is don't charge up to 100% while you're at home, unless there are two conditions. Condition one is that your manufacturer actually tells that the car's battery is designed to be charged to 100%. So that's like Tesla Model 3 standard range with LFP batteries. These are kind of designed to be charged up to 100% all the time. And the second condition is, if you are just about to leave home for a long trip, then okay. Otherwise, for daily drive, for kind of daily use, don't charge your battery up to 100%. Set up to 80%, that's most, or maybe 90%, that's what your manufacturer gonna tell you, and keep it that way. That's the most healthy for your battery, will last longer. Do it that way. If you do it otherwise, if you just charge for 100% for no reason, it's a stupid thing to do. Don't do it. Don't be that stupid guy who does that thing, right, to your car. Stop it. Another stupid thing what some EV drivers do, they disable one pedal driving. All EVs, they have one pedal driving. That's one of the best thing since sliced bread what you can have. So basically, what is the one pedal driving? One pedal driving is when you press accelerator, the car accelerates. When you release accelerator, car starts to regenerate, uses like motors for regenerative braking, and that regenerative braking charges battery up. Whenever you drive in city or on the motorway, always use one pedal driving. That's the most efficient way to drive your car, and it saves actually on your brake pads and so on and so on. I've done, like 75,000 miles in this car over 3 years. I haven't changed brake pads. It's the same set what it was originally. You don't have to change it that often, because once you get used to it, you can even drive in the city without even pressing the brake pedal unless it's emergency. So you just know, you kind of have a feeling how the car stops itself. You just drive, you see the traffic lights, you just release accelerator, the car stops just in front of the red lights. That's the thing to do. If you're doing otherwise, if you disable one pedal driving, it's a stupid thing to do. Don't do it. Enable it, and don't do a stupid thing. Use one pedal driving all the time. While you're at this video, I would like to ask you one huge favor. Please press that like button. It costs you nothing, it takes you just a second, but please press that like button while you're still watching it. And if you haven't pressed subscribe, I would appreciate if you press that subscribe button. It helps me, it helps my channel grow. It kind of helps the algorithm to promote my videos. So I would really appreciate for your support here. So thank you very much for that. Now, another silly thing, if you're still not an EV driver, but you're thinking about getting an EV, one of the stupid things at this moment, which is 2025, would be to buy a new EV. That's a stupid thing to do. These have, for whatever reason, have very high depreciation rates. Buy used 1 or 2 year old, almost new car, especially if it's ex-fleet car, it will be probably well maintained and everything. But you will have a couple of years old, 20,000 mile car, and that will be almost new, and you will pay probably half of the price. So that's another kind of silly thing to do, and probably smart way to, would say, currently it's a smart way it's the best thing to do is just to buy a second-hand EV. That's a smart way. Silly thing would be use your own money to buy a new EV. That will depreciate, you will lose your money. I own one. Horrible financial decision. What I would do now, I would buy a second-hand one. So, stupid thing to buy a new EV, smart thing to buy a second-hand EV. And if you are worried about, the battery, about the motors, most of those cars, they have 100,000+ miles battery warranty, 8-year battery warranty, 8-year motor warranty. So what it is that, you will have peace of your mind for the next 5 years or whatever time you're going to have it. It will be fully covered, even for a second-hand owner. All what you might lose, probably nothing, because the car will still be in warranty. It's 2 years, still in warranty, everything is fine, everything is good. So don't buy a new car, buy a second-hand one. Another stupid thing, what would be if you are becoming an EV driver and you're considering what to buy, the silly thing, a stupid thing would be not to buy the longest range you can find. I know that some people say that you shouldn't buy the range without considering your use. For me, it is a little bit silly argument. Yes, the standard range or the shorter range might be enough for 95% of the use cases, but maybe those 5% will be that thing which will make your life easier once a year, right? Maybe that's the thing. So, in my opinion, you should buy the longest range you can afford. Always buy the longest range you can afford. Maybe sometimes, but it will be that difference between going to your destination and back without any stops and needing to stop for 5 minutes or 10 minutes charge. That's the convenience. Sometimes think about it, buying the longest range you might be. You might buy the longest range you might find, you might think of needing. So the conclusion would be buy the range. Buy the longest range you need. Another thing is you don't necessarily need a second car as a petrol or as an internal combustion engine. One single EV for home use would be more than enough, but buy the longest range you can have. And the argument for this is very, very simple. For your daily use, they're very simple because usually you want to keep your battery between 80 and 10% or 80 and 20%. So actually you are variating within 60, maybe 70% range of your battery capacity, right? The range of like 60, 70%. So the bigger the battery it is, the more you have. You always have to consider that you will do, depending of course on speed and condition, you will do between 4 and 3 miles per 1 kilowatt hour of battery capacity. So in kilometers that would be 4, maybe 5 kilometers for every 1 kilowatt hour of your battery capacity. So consider that if you are gonna be sitting between 80, let's say, and 70 and 20%, so that's you have about 60% of your battery capacity. And if your battery capacity is, I don't know, 60 kilowatt hours, you're talking here about what, roughly 40 kilowatts, 40 kilowatt hours battery, roughly effective use range. What it means that you actually will be instead of 260 miles, you will be working in like 160 miles. So that's what you want kind of to consider. So buy the biggest range battery you can have for your EV, right? Buy EV with the biggest battery you can have. And the last stupid thing what some EV owners think, fine. So one of the last things what one of the last stupid things some EV owners think, that you don't need maintenance. That is not correct. You still need maintenance. You still need the maintenance. You still need to do the to maintain your car, but it's not as extensive as it would be with your standard petrol or diesel car. You don't have to change your oil every 10,000 miles. You don't have to check your plugs and other things. You have to do that, but you still have to do some of the maintenance. And Tesla actually recommends to do like a simple maintenance every year and a little bit larger one every 2 years. The simple one is actually just kind of just to topping up your washer, wind wash fluid, and just to replace your air filters. So your cabin air filter for your heating, air conditioning. For a little bit bigger extension of maintenance, you might want to change, you check your brake calipers, to lubricate the pistons and all the, to lubricate all the brake assembly, and a few other things what they do, but it still has to be done. So there is a little bit of maintenance. It's very little and it's quite cheap. The last maintenance what I did, I replaced for my car, I replaced the air filters and checked the calipers, and I think it was like 150 quid roughly. So I think it's reasonable. Yeah, brakes will last much longer. You don't have to replace the calipers itself, but you still want to check them, that they won't jam or whatever. You still want to have air filters replaced. You want to check your car's battery. So stupid thing is to think that you don't need to do any maintenance. You have to do it, just not that much. So if you watched up to this point, if you like this video, please feel free to press like. If you haven't subscribed, please press subscribe. It helps my channel grow. Thank you very much in advance. Leave your comment below. I would love to read your comment, and I will definitely do all my best to answer or to reply all the comments, and I love to read those. So yeah, feel free to do that. I hope this video helped you to to look at those things, from that perspective. Don't be that stupid EV driver who does those stupid things, the charging too long or too much at the public chargers, or treating your car the wrong way, or driving too fast. Don't be that silly driver. Don't do those stupid mistakes, and let's talk about something really nice next time. See you. Bye-bye.